The most frequently asked question that I get from YouTube subscribers and just general people who watch is in regards to the timber frame project or the cabin that I was building. Many of you guys have followed previously, and a lot of you want to know what happened to it. You know, did it get put up? Am I going to continue those, finish it? You know, all of that. I've got some bad news and I've got some good news about that. I'll give you the good news or the bad news first, because that's the way I prefer it. The bad news is I did finish the cabin, had everything done, 99% done, had it stored, was moving it around with the move, and when we were closing on this property that we're at now, one of the barns, it was a week before we moved in. I had to have a place to put it. I had it on a trailer, and it was starting to rain, and I was getting a little worried about it. So I took it out and I put it in one of the barns and shut the door and thought it would be fine there. Well, unfortunately, somebody came in and took all of it, everything that I had done and built, and it was really, really heartbreaking. Well, let me rephrase that. They didn't take all of it. They took half of it. They took all that I had there, which was the bottom section. I still have the corner posts and the rafters and all that, so that's some good news. But that's the reason why I haven't done any videos about that, or why I haven't actually put that thing up by now. So that was extremely disappointing, and I'm extremely disappointed in whoever would do something like that. They probably took it and cut it up for firewood, but any of you who have followed the project knew how much time and effort went into that. But the good news is that I'm going to do it again. Hopefully, Lord willing, this spring. I've actually been cruising our stand of timber and have picked out some really nice Doug fir trees that I'll be using to replace the ones that were stolen. And that means I'll be firing up the sawmill again, and I will certainly be doing videos about that. I know that there was a lot of interest, and a lot of folks enjoyed that, and I enjoyed it too, and I really enjoyed making the videos and sharing that. It'll be kind of fun doing it again, because I have made a lot of mistakes that I will, and did things that I'll do a little bit differently this time, so the end result will actually be better. So that is the skinny on the timber frame cabin. So just hang in there, and we'll get that going again, and that'll be a fun thing this spring to look forward to. Second thing, I've been giving a lot of thought to starting up the Bible study that we've done. Some of you guys have followed along. We have a 14-week Bible study. We've been through it twice. And many of you guys I've sent out the study guides to. I don't know if I'll be sending out the study guides this time. What I will have access to is I'll have a link to all of the material online. So either you can view it online beforehand, or you can print it out. I haven't decided. I know it's more convenient to have it in hard copy in front of you, but it's difficult for me to get all of them and get them all mailed out. It was really a logistic nightmare last time, and I'm kind of just thinking I might stay away from that because material is available. So it's so much easier just to get it to you online. Because if you're planning on taking the Bible study that we'll do on Blog TV, you'll have to have a computer anyway. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So why am I doing this? Why put the time and effort into this? I think that there's a lot of us. I know I can really sympathize for any of you guys that have been into or tried to maybe find yourself a nice home church and showed up, and maybe you were treated badly, or maybe you were the only young person there, or maybe you were the only man there. What I mean is man. You maybe not have been the only male there, but the only man. I remember. I have a really hard time with churches, and it's difficult for me to be an aggressive, outgoing, strong man, to find myself in the situations that we have with modern American churches today. I read a quote. I don't remember who it was from. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I think it was written by a woman. This must have been around the 17th, 18th century. And I think she was a member or part of the clergy of the Church of England, or somehow, and she made a quote that summed it up so perfectly. And what she said was, the church has effectively declawed the Lion of Judah. And if you don't know what that means, the Lion of Judah essentially has meant the line of men, of the family, the bloodline of the Jewish people, all the way through to Christ himself. Judah was the brother that was the progenitor of Jesus, and what that means, what that's referring to, it's referring to all God's Christian men. And what she was saying was, if you look back on God's people, men that God has used in the past, the ideal has been, there are two men, for example, Abraham and Moses, that were considered to be friends of God, the best friends God has ever had on the earth. And, those men weren't the pew sitters, the meek. Well, meek is the wrong word. There's nothing wrong with meekness. But what I think of men in church who think they're being meek, it's not meekness, it's weakness. And I just can't abide it, and I can't stand it, and I just don't think it's biblical. I don't know when the notion came into the church that to be a Christian man, you had to be essentially emasculated and to sit quietly and have no opinion, have no passion, have no pride. I don't know where that came from, but it's really prevalent in the church. And I know there's some movements out there that are kind of helping men get away from that. I can't think of any right now, but I have come across and I've read some of the books, and I applaud that. I think that that's very good, because when we look back, getting back to Abraham, Moses, when we get back to David, Jonathan, some really some of the figures, some of the real strong figures in the Old Testament. We were talking about men that were military commanders, that were generals, that were heirs to the throne of Israel, that were mighty in battle and in deed, and very passionate, and they had their mistakes, made their mistakes. They were human like the rest of us. But we will take David, for example, with all the mistakes he made, and he made many. He had his best friend killed because of his wife. He had an affair with his wife, and many things. Let's not be too hard on David. How would you like to have your own personal shortcomings aired out in the Holy Scriptures for generations of people to see? But what that is saying is that David was a man after God's own heart. And that, no, God's not saying that he condoned everything that David did and the atrocities that he committed and his sins. But one thing I think that God did appreciate was his passion and his manliness and aggressiveness and his zeal. And that's what seems to be lacking in the church. So I don't have any idea what the point of this conversation is, other than I'd like you to join our Bible study. We're going to ask the hard questions. We're not going to go through there and expect someone just to believe something. One of my favorite verses from the Word is what Paul said, was, let every man be convinced in his own mind. God respects us as people. He respects us as individuals. And what you may think you know about God or his character, I think if you're anything like me, I had some really crazy ideas that I hadn't really got from Holy Scriptures, that I'd gotten from tradition or the way, the church I was raised in, and any of that. So the point is, let's get to the point. The point is, join this Bible study if you have any interest, and we won't shy away from any difficult questions. And I don't profess to know a whole lot. I'm not a theologian by any means, but if I don't know, I'll tell you, and I'll do my best and spend what time I have to dig in and find the best answer I can for you. That's all I can promise you. But I can promise you it'll be interesting and you might learn something. So we typically do that on Thursday night. So I'm gonna think about that for a while and make that decision here pretty soon if we're gonna do that or not. And but the point is, I keep trying to get to a point. The point is church is hard for a lot of people, especially men. I understand that, and I can completely sympathize with that. So what would be nice is perhaps we can get a small group together, and this is something that we could make reoccurring every Thursday night. I don't know in what format or what it'd work, but what I'd like to eventually do is I'd like it to turn into some type of a retreat, and perhaps that will be done at the Wranglerstar Homestead, or my homestead. I don't know yet. I'm just throwing out some ideas there. Maybe we could get together, have a long weekend. Something like that would be cool. I don't know, just kind of thinking out loud here. So I'll look forward to your input on that. But I'd like to know, hear back from you. Send me some private messages if you'd be interested in this. Don't give me any BS. Tell me if you really are willing to do it. If I'm willing to commit 14 weeks to it, I expect you to do the same. And I ask you nothing more than that. So let me know. And if there's enough interest, enough guys and women, of course, this is something that I would be happy to do. And we'll take it from there. So thanks a lot for watching. Before I go, those of you who've been watching the power drama and all that, so we got our power back on late last night, and that's really nice. And the storm is pretty much abated, and the snow is starting to melt, and the temperature's up around 35, 36 degrees, so it's kind of nice. I do like the snow, but I will be happy to see a little bit of it go away. It's a little difficult to work around. So anyway, I enjoy all your comments and appreciate. I always appreciate and I'm really honored for someone to sit through the videos that I put up, and I thank you for that. So I'll look forward to hearing from you guys, and I'll talk to you very soon. I got a new compressor I want to share with you. Having some problems that broke down on me, so I'm going to be doing a little repair, and I'll share that with you and show you something that might save you a few bucks. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you soon.